cram their red candlesticks straight through the hearts of baby bull kind? Are the green days over for the Moon Boys? Or are the motherless baby bears about to be covered in their own backdoor surprise? After you see this video, I'm sure you'll be convinced. Right now, the price of Bitcoin sits firmly on the cusp of a potential breakdown. On the one-day chart, sitting atop the 50-day moving average, this is completely ginormous. But we're going to be jumping into some absolutely mind-numbing data that shows you not only has the bull market not even begun yet, but there is so much more in store for the Bitcoin price. And I want to start off by looking at this. If we take a look at, if we take a look at this, even with a near 100% rally this year alone, barely any short-term holders or new investors have really joined, while long-term holders keep dominating these markets. If we take a look here, you can see speculator saturation highlighted with these dark red all the way up to very light orange colors on this chart, showing basically people that are not really holding for that long, so people that are just speculating very, very short term. And you can see that speculation is where? It's always at the tops, the itsy bitsy tops. The people that are buying, the people that bought in at 60, 65, 69, nice, $1,000 per Bitcoin at the end of the last bull market, those people are what is considered people that bought the top, right? And this chart kind of illustrates that. Right now, though, we see that we firmly, very deeply, extremely deeply. In fact, I don't even think I've seen something this deep since I was at your mother's dinner party. But this is absolutely gigantic. If we take a look here, coins that have been held for extremely long amounts of time shows that people that are like short-term speculators only account for like 20% of the short-term speculations here. So pretty much, as this post on the cryptocurrency Reddit highlights here, we're not seeing massive speculation that we would expect during a massive rally. And this is not only big, it's, many people describe this as very big, maybe even extremely big. So that's one thing to look at. But also, if we take a look at Bitcoin drawdowns from prior all-time highs, according to Wicked here on Twitter, he's saying, I don't think you're getting much more than this 78% drop this epoch. If we take a look at Bitcoin, you can see these drawdowns. The very first bear market was 94%, then 87, then 84, now 78% drawdown from prior all-time high, putting us again in that mid $15,000 range. And all data is showing us, all data is showing us that this is very, very similar, very identical to the last, every other bear market. And we're now entering a period where those chances of a sub 20 and even $15,000 Bitcoin are just very, very slim. I will never say it's impossible. I will never say. Nobody should ever say anything is impossible when it comes to a price, but it's just very unlikely at this point. And if we take a look here, you can see Ash on Twitter, Ash Wall Street Bets, Ash WSB, just highlighting something we've pointed out many times, very clear as well, this 2019 to 2023 comparison. And if this fractal or similarity repeated, then over the next month we could see some upside. I actually want to contradict this in a few seconds here with something else, but here we have Peter Sniff a couple of months ago saying to sell your Bitcoin, and Bitcoin is up 54% since then. He said it's trading above 18K, it's the highest level in 3 weeks, and an excellent opportunity to sell Bitcoin, and if you would have done that, you would have been an absolute goofball. Basically, if Peter Sniff starts talking about Bitcoin, always do the opposite of Peter Sniff. It's a very good way of handling these markets. And as well, absolutely insane. Master of the charts, Tyler Shajilovich himself, absolute legend, talking about this, the 2015 cross into what we see now, the 2023 cross, where we haven't gotten this cross just yet, as you can see highlighted on this chart. But it's getting pretty close there. It's getting pretty close. And we all know what happens. Most likely, very likely, what is to come when we start seeing this momentum pick up. Now, actually, one more chart, and this is the halving. So you can see we're about a little less than a year away from this halving, and we see the price run-ups go crazy into the halvings, right? The bottom comes, and then the halving is usually, well, it's always been after that. So, again, is now a good time to buy? I don't have an answer for you well, I have my opinion, but data would tell us the answer is yes. I can't answer that because nobody would know. Nobody knows, right? But data would tell us now is a great time. to be entering these markets. But I want to actually highlight the fact that I think, again, that we're going to see some downside price action over the next 2 to 3 weeks. And that's kind of what I said I want to contradict a little bit here, is that, as I've been saying, currently I'm up a little bit under 20 USDT in profit trading this. And as I've been saying, I'm going to actually try to enter more into these positions if we get this pullback that I'm going to be talking about. But if you are interested in trading, the links are in the description below. If you sign up with my link, specifically 0 fees for spot trading with those links, and signing up with my links gives you massive deposit bonuses as well. If we take a look on Bitcoin's daily chart, right now we're sitting right atop the 50-day moving average. Okay, we're trying to find support there. And as I've been saying for weeks, I think we're going to go below that. If we take a look on Bitcoin's weekly chart as well, this very key moving average is right around 25. I personally believe it's very likely we could also dip our tip a little bit below 25. I'll get to that exact figure in a second here. But I also want to highlight the DXY. The weakness is so great here. The weakness of the DXY here is insane. And if the DXY actually breaches this, where we've so far gotten a double bottom right around 100, again, obvious big level, 100, obvious gigantic psychological level, and it is clearly a level that, historically has shown support and resistance. This could change things. But, and as well, as I've been saying, before we continue the Bitcoin charts, I think that the stock market looks like it wants to roll over here. And we're actually getting this cross on the MACD right now. So that's actually kind of big. So, if you would ask me, well, I'll just say it straight up. I think within the next 2 to 3 weeks, we're going to see continued downside. And I think it's a very high likelihood we can see sub 25K prices. For how long? That's the big question. But looking on this chart for Bitcoin, again, as I've been saying, I think very minimum retesting this zone right here, so a little under 25, is very, very, very likely. Again, in the bone zone, coming down, all I mean is maybe like a liquidity tap right about here, a little tippy tap at the bottom of the big bone zone, not to be confused with the bone zone. This is the big bone zone. And looking at Bitcoin's 2-week chart, again, we have just got our very first kind of indication of momentum slowing down a little bit on this longer term chart. We see this actually turning potentially to switch momentum there. So again, overall, I think, some of these charts I showed you, absolutely very important. These are longer term charts. But in the very short term, that's where I'm looking at my own charts here. And I think in the very short term, there's a very high likelihood that further dumpage is needed. And that's not bad, especially if we look at Bitcoin, on this chart. This is where 2023 began. And it's been pretty, you would have to describe this as bullish. It's been up only, except for a couple little slight dumpies. Another slight dumpy down to the sub 25, I think, is just a very rational, likely scenario right now. And I think that it will come sooner than later. And if you guys are interested in trading these moves, as I said, you can sign up with Femex below, and you can get massive deposit and sign up bonuses, as well as BitGet, and 0 fees when trading with Spot when you sign up with my links below. Absolutely insane. And in fact, the 25 slots available for a whitelist here on Femex as well when you sign up and trade. There's quick tutorials popping up as well, and in the description of the video. And without any further ado, may the juice be with you.